Hi, hey, and all those other greetings, Fed Adventurers. I'm Jenspins, welcoming you guys back to my gaming and unboxing channel, where today we have another exciting unboxing, this time in the 2022 anime adaptation of a manga, Quintessential Quintuplets. But before we get into what the anime is, the character figure, and all of that stuff, we have to do this 4 more times because it's an anime about quintuplets, so we have to do this whole intro thing again. So, round 2. Hiya, Ola, and all those other greetings, Fate Adventurers. I'm Jenspins, and that would be stupid if I actually ended up doing that, but thankfully, I'm a little bit smarter than that. Not by much, because I'm still making this joke, but with all of that said, let's finally get into the first character that I get to talk about in this anime, which is dun-dun-dun-dun, Itsuki Nakano, which, in my opinion, is probably the most boring out of all of the characters in this. If you're upset about that, I'm sorry. Let me know in the comment section down below. But, like, hear me out, because we will eventually get into that. First, though, I want to talk about the anime itself. So I believe that this anime has 2 seasons and an upcoming movie. And to be honest, I'm not sure how I want to order how to talk about all of this stuff, but we're going to talk about season 1, which opens with a wedding scene showing the main character Futaro ends up marrying one of these 5 quintuplets. Since at this point they supposedly look the same, we as the viewer don't actually know who he's marrying. Going back in time, we see how they meet. So Futaro's going and getting his lunch as per usual and deciding, hey, you know, I want to be healthy and nutritious, so I'm going to get the most boring, bland thing that I possibly can so that I don't end up dying of sugar, even though, like, 1 drop of sugar is fine. But he's like, this is what I need, this is what I will eat. And the anime kind of presents it as more so him just being very, like, studious and health conscious type of thing, but not, like, really anything harmful. So Futaro ends up grabbing his lunch and he's looking around the lunchroom seeing, okay, there's nowhere really for me to sit. But oh, there's this red-haired girl. She's just sitting there, and what is she eating? Oh my goodness, that is quite the lunch. So he decides to sit down and basically just berate her as she's alone about her lunch, which then turns into him trying to do his homework and then insulting her smarts in a sort of way. It's been a while since I've seen the anime, so I don't fully remember everything that happens in this. But essentially, everything he does and says just ends up insulting her, and she kind of storms off. He thinks, okay, what does that really matter? I do really good in my class, I'm pretty smart, so it's fine. Next day, however, he ends up meeting with somebody and getting a job to tutor 5 girls. So he ends up going to this one apartment, and he gets let in only to find out that it's this girl and all of her sisters. So because he was super mean to her, they're all upset with her, and what doesn't help is that she's the youngest of all of them, so they are just completely protective over her. And despite the fact that he's like, hey, I'm here to tutor you, they know that he won't get paid if they don't get tutored. And to be honest, they don't really care about their grades. All they really care about is taking care of themselves in specific ways. One of them just wants to sleep because later on you find out she's just been overworking herself to support her siblings. Another one is just caring about all the social cliques, doing her hair, doing her nails, and just completely avoiding the tutor. And then you have other ones who are just socially awkward and don't really want to deal with it. So with this entire setup, he's like, okay, well, they all have their weaknesses, and I have to tutor them, so I have to figure out who's the weakest link. He does eventually figure it out and wears them down enough to kind of get them to a tutoring session, and we eventually find out that all of them are just completely awful at pretty much every subject, except each of them has that one subject that they're kind of okay with and that they have a lot of interest in. So he decides to kind of nitpick each of them and try to figure out, okay, how do I build up this person's skill and try to get them to build up the others? But of course, it's not easy at all because they still really don't care that much. For Itsuki specifically, she is the quote-unquote main character. They kind of give all of them a spotlight, and even though she's the first one that he meets and the one that's more heavily implied and seems like the fan favorite of the creators as the, like, shipping romance, and has the most integral moments with Futaro, I still feel like she's not a very important character, and she's kind of boring. You have a lot of the other characters being either snobby or just having way more of a personality, so Itsuki being just a base level tsundere who doesn't really care, isn't that aggressive, and at most just kind of says, I don't really like you. Just straight up, or will slam the door in his face, and sometimes decides to help Futaro. Even with all of that, she just doesn't shine because all of her other siblings are way more interesting in design, in personality, and there's nothing wrong with that. It's just the problem of this is the character they chose to carry the narrative. To be honest, my biggest problem with recording this is even though I liked the anime and I do want to see the movie, because I saw it about a year ago, I don't remember a lot of it, and to be honest, this is the character I remember the least amount. Despite the fact that, again, she's supposed to carry the plot. I do remember writing a Twitter review after I finished it, and that was pretty much my entire thought process on that character back then. And now, I don't know, I just really don't care about her even more. This is going to be a spoiler for a later episode, but in this one episode, they have all of the girls go to their grandfather's house, where they all end up dressing and wearing the exact same things, which in this case makes a lot of sense to have the quintuplet mix-up. It makes for a really interesting episode because you don't really know who the characters are talking to, who's going with what. And at the end, one of the girls looking like Itsuki ends up where they ring a bell, which is said that if two people are standing next to it and somebody rings the bell, that they'll be together forever. Which is very cute, and it's possible that it was Itsuki, but it was also possible, because they were still at their grandpa's, to be anybody. And if it was Itsuki, I don't really enjoy that, because they never really gave a huge reason to them having that type of connection. For me personally, I feel like they gave a lot more of that connections, the most connections to Miku. They gave some connections to Nino because there was one point where she left and then he had to basically bring her back. And then the other characters had their own connections, but Itsuki? Not really. Either way, though, this is getting really, really long, and I'm so sorry about that. But normally when I do one of these, it focuses on the anime, what my thoughts are, and of the character. The problem is, I basically have to go over 6 separate characters just to kind of give a synopsis for one character. And it's a character I don't really remember much about. So then you might be saying, Spins, did you really just buy this figure just so that you could talk about this anime? And to be honest, I don't even remember buying this figure. I thought that I bought a figure for Miku, who is my favorite in the series, and I was just going to talk about the anime and that character in that video. But somehow, whether I purposely ordered this, whether I accidentally ordered it, if I just put it in my cart and completely forgot when I bought something else, I have no idea. But because I have this figure, I figured that this would be the video that makes the most sense to do a plot synopsis on and a character overview on. So without further ado, let's open this figure up.
I need to make sure too, because I get so used to not having this over the camera. I need to remember that this should be at the camera when I try to open it, because even if I fast forward it, at least you guys are seeing me trying. Shit, come on. Probably should not be using the aux cord of my Raycon, but, you know. That's because this video is not sponsored. No, it's not. Oh, man. Why do I love that joke so much? Honest to God, I could not tell you. It is the dumbest joke, but I will always constantly say it whenever there's product. But either way, I'm really hoping that I can open this up soon, because this product is also not sponsored. But I want to open it so that I can look at this beautiful figure and this nice dress. Because even though I might not like the character, I do still really like the dress that is on the figure, which I think will look really nice on my figure stand as well. Kind of reminds me of like a red carpet type of thing. And this I should say, this also is not her normal outfit. This is just one of those figures where it was cheaper to get and one of the easier ones to get. I may have even gotten it because it was with the other figure that I bought and figured, hey, this would be good for the video. So it is very possible that I actually bought this because of that, but I'm not 100% sure.
Alright guys, we can finally open this figure. Oh, it only took a few minutes. That sounds silly. And look guys, just like Itsuki's personality, we have a cardboard. I'm sorry, anybody who really likes this character, if you guys really do, please let me know what you like about her, because I don't want to dislike her. I think her design is pretty nice. It's not the best out of all of the sisters, but like it's pretty fun. And oh my god, they have her separated from her torso. I will never understand anime figures and how they separate things. It will absolutely always baffle me. All right, let's get the legs out first, and then I'll get her torso out, so we could actually put this all together and look at it. God, could you imagine if this ended up breaking, and then all you could really do is just have this as your anime figure? This is basically the what the anime wants you to think, where it's like absolutely no identity, just down below. Like, this is all the information you get for who Futaro marries. Oh my goodness. Am I still invested in it? Yes. Because it is overall, it's a pretty funny anime, and it has your standard anime tropes as well. That I usually don't talk about in these videos, but you know, it works. Alright, so let's put this figure onto here. I mean, when it's not connected, it kind of makes her look taller, and I actually kind of like the dress a little bit better like that. But if I leave it like that... Okay, I was going to say, this isn't a Dairy Queen Blizzard. Oh my goodness. That would have been so funny if it actually stayed on. Yeah. I mean, that was basically tell me you're a Shantae fan without telling me you're a Shantae fan. Me just being like, if this dress had a midriff. Oh my goodness. But anyway, though, we have Itsuki, who, weirdly enough, she doesn't have the star in her hair, does she? No, she does. Isn't it usually at the side? Oh, it is over there. It's just gold. Okay. Wow, that really tells you how much you need to know about this character, because I thought the star was at the side of her hair. Oh my god. I definitely feel like she's underutilized for her being one of the main sources of the plot going forward, but I digress. So, looking at the character, this is actually the first red-headed figure that I have out of all of my anime figures, which is really cool because I feel like red hair, especially this kind of red, really isn't used in a lot of anime figures or just anime characters in general of ones that I watch. So if you guys have any anime with red-haired characters, also let me know down in the comments because I'm curious. For Itsuki, her hair is always downwards. And what's weird is, despite being the youngest, she's the one that the look is constantly modeled after. I guess it's supposed to represent the fact that she never truly grew up, and while her other siblings ended up leaving that identity behind, she never really did, which I guess kind of makes sense, but it's also a little bit silly either way. What I do like, though, is that her long flowing hair looks really beautiful on this figure, and she has this little cowlick at the top with a little bit of a stylish wind flow for the hair going in towards the back. The hair also only goes up to her mid-back, so pretty good length for hair, and she does have some bangs. in the front as well. This is actually one of those anime figures where I don't have to say like, oh, they sculpted the eyes and they painted the eyes even though the hair is covering, because the hair is not covering any of her face, which does look really, really nice, but she has a smaller figure, so it's a little bit harder to actually show her off on the camera without it getting all super blurry. Another thing that might be a little hard to see is at the side of her hair, you have these two tiny little silver stars just sprinkled down on her head that kind of match her like blue-gray eyes that look pretty nice. You also do have some earrings, which I wasn't even sure if they had ears on her. I'm looking at this. Do they have? Yeah, they have like the earlobe. And I thought it looked a little pinched on the earlobe, but I wasn't 100% sure. It's a small figure, so it's a little hard to tell, especially on camera, but it looks like they might. Going from there, you have this really nice chain necklace that kind of looks like one of those like Olympic leaf things you see from Athens. And on that necklace, you have a little bit of like a whistle type of, like one of those cylinder whistles. You also have her hand showing the size. I'm not making that joke. But you have her hand that's like doing a little bit of a pinch. Going from there, you have the nice flowing dress, which kind of looks like she's getting ready to win an Academy Award. The sleeves themselves are a little bit transparent, with the top being a little bit more fluffed, which is why on its own, it definitely reminded me of Shantae. And I wouldn't mind seeing like these characters with like a Shantae-esque figure, because like, I like Shantae, and if there's any more Shantae that I can have in my life, and any excuse I can bring that character up, I will take it. Going from the Shantae top, you have this nice silver belt that goes all around her ribs. I've never really tried wearing any sort of thing that uses this, but I always thought that it would be a little bit uncomfortable with it being restrained like right there, instead of like at the waist, because at least the waist you have all of the like the hip bones, and it's more of like a harder structure, whereas on the ribs it's going to be a little bit more soft and just seems like it would be a little more uncomfortable. But hey, that's fashion, not figure. So going from there, you have the flowing dress, which actually this design is really nice. I think it works having the side be more of a simple dress, kind of like an underskirt, and the rest looking like it's connected to the rest of the dress with a little bit of a bottom frill, just very simplistic. And then over to the side is the potential of this character. It's metaphoric. It's a metaphorical dress because it shows the potential of what her character can be if she breaks away from what her parents and her grandparents want for her and just becomes her own person. So in that metaphorical skirt that goes all the way down from the belt, you have nice little waves with a bunch of different frills on it. It does look like it might be a little bit too ruffled because you don't see a lot of the detail. I think if this flow like here wasn't there and it was just more of a flatter texture with all of these frills on there, then it would be fine. But that with the light, at least on the camera, looks a little bit too much. When it's in front of me off camera, the black is a lot darker and it does look really nice. Unfortunately though, my light is fairly bright, so it's possible it's like washing it out a little bit. So I might try to see if there's something in editing so that you guys can see the darker black in there, if that's possible. But either way though, the dress looks really nice, and the frills also have this like transparent texture under the main frills. Going from there, the last detail that we have are the shoes. And she's wearing those cute little heels where you have the little bow on the front toe, which are always such an adorable addition to figures like this. I absolutely love this kind of design. And with that being said, that is the entire figure and the entire character. It's fairly simple, and like I said, not my favorite character, but I am interested to see what you guys think of this character as well as this anime in the comment section down below. And if you guys have a specific quintuplet that's your favorite or you're hoping will be the spouse in the end, let me know. As long as you don't have anything like seen the movie. I don't know if the movie's out yet, but if it is, I haven't seen it. I do have to check Crunchyroll for that. But anyway, though, guys, that's going to be it for this video. If you guys enjoyed, make sure to swish that dress on that like button. Let the frills land on that subscribe. And I hope to see you guys in the next one. Alright, guys. Let's zoom in out. I don't even know what I was saying. I just wanted to try something different and get a good thumbnail of the character. But she's having a really hard time where she's not blurring out. Oh my god, my hair is all frizzy. Alright, guys. Hope you enjoyed. I will see you guys in the next one.